Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast to guide you home into your human journey here on Earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard, and it is my delight to co-create with Gaia and share our messages from Source in this now moment. Here we go. Episode 415. It is Thursday. Here in Cincinnati, we are in the middle of a winter storm. We have ice and snow and a crazy combination of the two for the next 24 hours. So we're all cuddled up here at home, cocooned in, and I am coming to you with the latest episode of this beautiful podcast space. I was sitting meditating right before starting this and just feeling just the gratitude for this space, like the abundance of what I have manifested with much help from my husband, the beauty that I get to sit in as I create these episodes for you. So yeah, I just want to start with gratitude and an appreciation for beauty, the way that I feel when I am surrounded with the colors and the structure of the tree and the better equipment. Like there's just such a beauty and level of support that I feel as I get ready to make these episodes now, and it's just amazing. It just feels so good. I've been doing it by myself for a long time, and now I just feel really held and loved as I sit in this space with you. And also just so excited about how Gaia is represented. I mean, every time I look at the little screen, it shows the tree behind me and the map of the world and Gaia's love across the front. I'm just thrilled inside. I'm so thrilled. So that's how I'm beginning. I also just want to say the technology thing is kicking my butt a little bit. I didn't do it on stereo last time, so the sound quality was not up to par. I hopefully am figuring it out, and it's a little bit better today. We'll see how it goes. The microphone is literally right in my face now. But it feels good. It was really funny too. So the title for today is Signier Signs, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But I'll tell you why now. So there was a little quote that I saw this morning on Instagram when I was just getting moving. You know how you get up in the morning, you check your phone, you look to see what you've missed overnight. Why do we do that? But we all do that, I think. So I saw this one meme from a woman named Elizabeth April, who I follow on Instagram, who's pretty wild and cool. Cosmic alien ET translator. She's so cool. But she had a quote, and it said, "The universe sends me signs, and I say, oh, I'll just wait for a signier sign. I'll just wait for something that feels more of a sign," even though that was clearly a sign. And I love that because I do that all the time. I'm like, oh, thank you, that was great. And anything else? Do you have a follow-up to the sign that you just gave me, which was exactly what I asked for? Thank you, but is there more? And I think many of us do that. And so I thought today we could play with the idea of signier signs. Yesterday was the 2022 portal, or moment in time, where I feel like angels were just singing and celebrating and supporting us here in this human realm. And so there were lots of signs, and I feel like many more people were tuned into looking for signs because we were all talking about 22 and 222 and, you know, angel messages and numbers. And so last night, so anyway, so that was yesterday, and today I saw that meme, and Monday, when I was making the new moon meditation and the new moon card reading, there was this moment where, as my throat clears, there was this moment where a sign was just so in my face, like there was no avoiding it. And so I'm going to start by sharing that, and then we'll kind of meander through signs in general. So I was sitting at my desk doing the card reading, and my daughter was home that day. I had asked her to help me just check the quality of the technology, because I knew what it was like here. I didn't know what it would sound like at my desk and with the new microphone and the lighting. And So we got all this stuff set up. We checked it. She's like, yep, I think you're good. Everything is set. So I push play, record, and I start pulling the cards. And the first one is politics. For the individual now, at this moment on our planet, the message was, drop the masks. Everyone is playing politics. You're putting on the pretty mask. You're actually the not so pretty mask. Why don't we just drop all of that and just be authentic and transparent all the time? And then we never have to worry about which mask we're putting on. It was a beautiful message with such wonderful words from Osho's Zen book. So I'm putting my glasses on, taking them off because I can't read as well now without glasses. Part of that over 50 thing that apparently happens. I go to watch the video recording to combine it and edit it. Every time I looked up with my glasses, it would reflect the halo light that I'm so proud of, that brings like all of this beautiful light into the set. So there's big rings on my glasses. And I just had to laugh. I'm like, okay, drop the mask. Because I talked in the video about putting on this pretty face and makeup and making things look good for the video. And then not so good looking when you've got big halo lights in your glasses. So there's a way we can engage with signs, I think, where we feel persecuted or judged, or like we're not measuring up to what the signs are telling us is possible for us, right? So like we get the sign and we think, oh, I don't know, or maybe, or all these thoughts. What if it's just for fun? And that's what I was feeling when I was watching the halo lights. I'm like, you gotta laugh. You have to laugh at these signs, because what else are you gonna do? When you make a statement about dropping the masks and then you're revealed for your own behind the scenes wizardry. Like, just laugh. It's so cosmically funny. And I find when I do that, when I'm able to just drop into the humor of the situation, the sign it's so easily received by me. It's so soothing to my system, and then I want more signs. I'm like, okay, that was funny. That was really funny. So send me another one. Like, show me what else we can do. And then you're looking for something that feels engaging and fun instead of punishment or not measuring up, not being good enough. So that was where I wanted to start with signier signs. Let's talk about angel numbers for a moment, because yesterday was just so much fun for me to see the twos everywhere, and to see lots of people that I follow and engage with just popping all these two numbers up with a connection to signs, with a connection to the angels are communicating, or our guides, our higher self, our soul is communicating with us and trying to validate or show us that we're in alignment, which is how I take angel numbers. And it's not always, like, I like the sequence of the same numbers. To me, those are angel numbers, like 11, 22, 33, 44, and then the 100, 444, and, going in sequences. But there are also numbers that are more specific to me and to my journey, and when I see those sequences, I feel just as excited as when I see what I would call an angel number. So for example, 911 has a lot of energy attached to it because of what happened on that date years ago. 911 is also September 11th, which is my grandmother's birthday. And so when I see 911, I have sort of a dual relationship with it. I can feel the pain and the activation of that date, and I can also feel like the honoring of the life that was my grandmother and her presence around me. And so 911 has become a number that I associate with, I'm surrounded and held by so much love, and we're playing between dimensions, the earthly realm and the spiritual realm. And so I see 911 a lot when I am walking around my house or going between places. It'll pop up randomly, like I just happen to see it, even though I know it's only in the morning. And at night, I just seem to see those numbers a lot. I'll look at a clock, and that's the number on the clock. the other number that started to show up for me a couple years ago, when I was running one day, I was playing music, and there was some lyric that had me look at my phone, and right as I looked at my phone, it said 8:11. I mean, obviously that was the time I was running, but it showed 811. And I was like, that's interesting, because 911 has been a number, and now 811 seems to be a number, and I started to see it more and more often. I see it all the time now. And so when I see that number, for me, it indicates I'm in alignment. I'm not late, I'm not early, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be in this moment. And so the number is soothing to my mind and to my plans for the day and to my flow through my day. There's just this, like, oh, okay, relax. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Everything is exactly on plan and on purpose. And so I see 811 all the time. Not just like on the clock, but the number is 811, or the license plate with 811. And so I receive those signs. I look for signier signs, and I'm very open to the signs I do see. And when I experience that connection of something that matters to me showing up and validating my path, my first response usually is thank you. Like, thank you, angels. Thank you, guys. Thank you, soul. I feel like I'm the human here on this realm trying to just muck my way through and figure it out, and many times getting it wrong, or what I feel is wrong, or rushing, or it's just hard some days. And so when I see those signs, my immediate feeling is, oh, thank you. And because I have that engagement with signs, because that's my reaction, I feel like I get them more and more often, and so it just becomes this fun game, this way of being in the human reality and having like the little guardian angel on your shoulder that's like ding ding ding. Did you see that one? Ding ding ding. Did you see that one? And it just makes life more fun. So you're going to have your own experience with signs. Maybe you already see lots of them and love it and are completely in flow with it. Or maybe this podcast is to say to you, watch for the signs. Take the ones you get, and what will happen as you appreciate those and exchange a thank you for that sign, you're going to get the signier signs. You're going to get the ones that are like bigger and absolutely unique to you. Yep. That was like validation. Yeah, I had one yesterday that was a really big one for me. It was a signier sign, and I feel like that's why I'm clearing my throat. It's like, that was a big sign that showed up yesterday. So last week I shared that I'm preparing to submit a proposal for a documentary to go do Gaia's gifts, to travel the world and go to these locations and create a documentary about it. And so documentary has been a word that's very prevalent in my vocabulary over the last 2 months. Before, I wouldn't normally talk about documentaries. I don't watch a lot of them because I don't watch a lot of TV, and I watch a few, but not a lot. And I don't usually make a documentary, so I don't spend a lot of time in that energy. But I have been doing a lot more research and reading articles, and yesterday I had a conversation with a beautiful friend of mine named Brendan, who I haven't talked to in a while because life has just been busy and we've both been running in different directions. And so we scheduled the call a week ago. We said, okay, next week let's get together and chat and catch up a little bit. And we get on the phone and we're just talking about, you know, his work and my work and life and friends and how life is going. And then he said, what's happening in your work? I said, I want to tell you about this documentary that I am going to be putting together. He's like, that's hysterical. He said, I just literally accepted a writing position for a documentary next week. Like, I start in documentary energy on Monday. And so we had this great conversation. He had so much valuable information for me about specifics with budgeting and staffing, and like he just handed me all of this information from real life experience that I could research, but it wouldn't have had the same impact as coming from this beautiful person that I trust so much. So that was a signier sign, the way I see them. It was just the right time. It was just the right person. The message was delivered perfectly. He was so excited for me and so supportive. And then I was able to validate, because there's always an exchange of energy. I was able to validate back to him the alignment that shows up in co-creation. So when I'm in alignment with my path and I co-create with someone else that is clearly in alignment with their path, there's this magical expansion for both. Co-creation at its best, at its highest. And so we both could feel that. It was, well, I'm assuming, we both are like, whoa, you're so on track. You're so on track. You're right where you need to be. You're right where you need to be. And so the sign of your sign is this mutual joy and validation that this human realm, we're doing it right. Right. We're doing it in alignment with our own intentions. We're doing it on purpose. And that is the greatest sign to be validated with, isn't it? When you know, like, you're here and you're on target and it's good. So that was beautiful yesterday. And then the other thing I was thinking about earlier with signs, just in general, sometimes, so I'm in alignment now where most of my signs are like little course corrections or validations, like this. And I just believe it's because I have been so clear on focusing on what my life's purpose is and staying in my practices that keep me in alignment and clearing energy when it feels heavy and intense and bringing me into doubt. Like I've created an environment and a structure in my reality that continually reinforces the work I'm here to do. And the feedback from the ones around me who are doing the work with me strengthens my resolve and validates that I'm in my genius. I'm in the path that I'm meant to be in. And so my signs are mostly validation, and then sometimes little course corrections or adjustments, or like there's lots of options on the table or the platter, and the signs will say, it'll help me laser focus and go, okay, this way, this one, this next step, instead of bouncing around or meandering, in different directions that perhaps aren't as productive or as next step as they could be. And so the signs are usually sort of bringing me into focus and moving me forward. It has not always been that way. And I am just offering the support if you also have the same stories that I'm about to share. For me, in the past, when I wasn't in alignment with my purpose, a lot of the signs I would get were nudges. It was like, this way. Like, you're so far off track. Off track, that's not quite the right word. I mean, everything is always teaching us, and we're never wrong, we're never late, we're like, all of that is absolutely true. And there's this feeling when you're really in flow, when you're really delivering the gifts that you're here to deliver, it's just a whole different frequency and joy and thrill. And so I haven't always had that. There have been many years in my life, where I've wondered, like, what the hell am I doing? And why am I doing this? And why am I with this group or this group? Like, what? And so the signs I would get then were usually ones I would ignore, or I would get the sign and then I would go, they don't know what they're talking about. That's for somebody else. That's not for me. I had all kinds of things I would say to myself because that was not a sign. And luckily, I had some big lessons and bumps in my journey, but not not any major catastrophes. And what I sometimes witness are people who have gotten so far, not off course, because that doesn't even sound right, but they're just not aligned with their purpose and struggling to try to figure it out, or immersed in the energy of somebody else, or a job that doesn't serve them, or ignoring their body and not honoring the optimal health of the mind, the body, the spirit together. You know, just really immersed in the density of the human experience. And what happens is we still get the signs. Our guides, our angels, our soul is still constantly sending us all kinds of little nudges and messages and signals. But we're so disconnected from that communication flow, or we don't trust it, or we're too busy for it, that we just push them aside. And I did that for a long time. I would just say, oh, I'll figure it out. I'll get to that. And I didn't. And sometimes that's when the crisis happens, or which then puts us on a different path and brings us back into alignment. So the crisis isn't a bad thing. But I feel like one of the ways I see reality shifting, I feel like, what if we don't have to go through all of that anymore? What if there's a way to be a human where we just are learning and expanding and contributing and co-creating from this place of abundance and joy and beauty, and those heavier, denser emotions and experiences aren't as necessary to be teachers as they have been before. And so we're still going to have moments of anger and disappointment and fear and doubt and all of those things that make up the human experience, but perhaps we don't have to dip quite as far, or we see the signs more quickly and trust them and course correct more gently, so that we don't have to have the roller coaster ride to be a human. Not that it hasn't served to do that in the past, but what if that's a possible shift that could happen here on our planet? I mean, that would be cool, wouldn't it, to be in alignment and to be in that frequency of creation with yourself and with others and with the planet and with the cosmos, and to be here in a human body doing that. So you'd still have all of the physical experiences. You'd still get to taste and sense and smell and hear and see and feel and experience. So you'd still get all of that, but maybe without as much suffering and pain and struggle. It's like if it's a seesaw, right? So let's say the seesaw has been this, and so here's all the pain and suffering and struggle, and here's all the up highs, all the good feeling, and we do these big, right, like swings of energy. So we're high, 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 and then we crash, and then, you know, and so the journey, it can be like a roller coaster, but it can also be like this big seesaw. What if instead of it being so high and this so low, the low starts to come up, and then it can sort of straighten out, but the frequency level at which we're at is higher. It's not down here. It's not like the high has to be brought down to meet the low, or both have to compromise and meet in the middle. It's like, what if the high can stay here and we can elevate the base level and then straighten out and function at this other frequency in the human body? I mean, it's all theory. What if? What would that look like? And maybe the energy of the Signier Signs episode today that called you here is for you to get that message through me from your guides, to hear that potential from my voice in the human realm going, there's another way, there is another way, and we don't have to compromise. We don't have to sink all the way down. We could actually just meet at this higher frequency and function and play in that way. Maybe the Signier Signs episode called you here so that you could hear those words, you could feel that potential. And then the work, the reality, the adjustment in our human lives is we have that little whisper, that awareness in the back of our consciousness. We have that little reminder on our shoulder that says, she could be right. She could have been actually delivering a Signier sign. I mean, maybe. And so what would need to shift in my life to help me adjust to that level of truth or frequency? What what fear and doubt would I need to start letting go of? So if this is it's like climbing a mountain. If this is what it looked like, and this is what has to shift for us to come to that higher frequency, what do you do in your reality that takes you from fear and doubt and heaviness and struggle to more neutral and then eventually to the higher frequency? Well, we move doubt out, and we start replacing doubt with love, with trust. We release fear, and we start to expand the heart chakra and open up to more love. We see and experience beauty in all the moments that we can, and then we offer gratitude for it. And slowly, you may not even realize, like, you've done this. You've gone from straight down to like I don't know, degrees, whatever the degree is. You've gone like 15 degrees maybe in your adjustment of your energy level and your experience of the human realm. And then that becomes your base for a while, and you hang out at that level, and then maybe something more starts to shift, and you move out more fear and more doubt, and you allow more joy, and so suddenly you're at 30 or whatever the numbers are. And so you're slowly adjusting your daily way of being until one day you just don't even realize you're up here. You're just playing and hanging out in this high vibrational feeling, and suffering and pain and struggle are just not, they're just not relevant, or there just isn't that in your experience. So one of the things that pops to my mind when I say those words out loud is, you know, the collective humanity. How is it possible for one, like me or others, to sit in beauty and abundance and joy and be that when there is so much suffering in the world, when there are so many others who have pain and struggle? Like, is that fair? Is that right to be in that frequency when others are not in that frequency? And I've struggled with this in my own journey because I've felt a lot of responsibility before. Like, I have so much I need to give back. I have worked through so many things and come to this beautiful space. Like, I need to share that. I need to offer that back to the world and not fully enjoy it because it needs to be for everyone. And what I keep coming back to, and this is like a basic belief for me about the soul experiencing the human realm. This is like a core truth for me. And I write about this in my books. I believe that every soul, when we choose to come and be in a human body, we come with intention. We come with purpose, and there are specific emotions or themes that we want to work through and understand better, perhaps to clear. Maybe there are old patterns that we have experienced in other lifetimes or other realms, and we come to this moment in time to shift that, to transmute that. So we arrive, the soul in the human baby body, with things that we're going to be doing, which is why we're here. I don't believe we just arrive like, oh, now I'm here. What do I do on earth? I don't believe souls experience that. I believe there's always intention that is forming and shaping and perfecting the soul's journey. And at the end of that journey, I talked about this last week, at the end of that journey we return to Source more than we were before we left. And what are we contributing back with that more that we've been creating in our journey? And so intention guides that, and purpose guides that. So when the soul comes to the human body and has this thing that we do called life on earth, we have specific reasons for choosing the family, the location, the abundance level, the educational level, the pain and struggle versus the joy. All of that is a very intentional choice made by a soul to step into that story, because that's what's going to support what we're here to learn. And so I believe, for me, and that's all I can speak to, everyone has their own version or their own understanding of why they're here. For me, what I understand is the vibration and the frequency that I hold and that I communicate in all that I do, not just in the podcast, but in my other work and in my relationships and in my everyday life. The frequency and the vibration that I am transmitting is a direct connection or transcription or relationship with the evolution of our planet. And so as Gaia is releasing struggle and pain, as Gaia, as I talk about it, is evolving into this infinite sustainability, being her own self-sustainable consciousness in the universe without needing to be managed and supported and, taken care of. Like, she is, I believe, in her consciousness is in direct communication with Source without the need for external guidance, which is like the whole point of the soul, right? The soul leaves Source to grow up, to evolve, to complete a journey, and then to return to Source. And I feel like in the arc of the learning that I talked about last week, Gaia started, evolved, and now she's at the completion of her journey. She's like, I did it. I mastered it. I figured out the elements. I figured out the atmosphere. I figured out the movement of humans through my womb. Like, I have figured it out. And now we're in this new game, this new way of being that is infinitely sustainable. And so Gaia is done with her evolution, in a sense. Like, she's reached the mastery, and I believe that mastery level is a place of peace and joy and calm and euphoria and just deep delight. I feel like that's where she's at, and one of my purposes, my intentions, is to translate that, to be able to articulate that and share that with the human realm, to bring that communication and message through the Gaia's Love podcast and share it. But it flows into everything else. It flows into all my work and all my relationships and just the way I move in the world and the way I feel all the time. And so it doesn't serve for me, in alignment with my intention and purpose, to move from that frequency that I've mastered with Gaia, that the level of communication that I trust, the way that it flows through me and I can articulate it, like, that is me in my alignment with the highest version of my soul at this time. And it doesn't take away, it doesn't, how do I say that? It impacts co-creation because I'm bringing my highest and best self to co-creation. I don't believe it's hurting those who have chosen to learn in other ways, because that's their choice and their path that they're working through, and whatever the lessons are that they're learning are shaping and forming their soul. And I don't need their work to be my work or my work to be their work. I'm in flow and alignment with my own. Yeah. It's such a curious line to walk, because it's detachment in a sense. Like, I'm so in my flow with my communication with my soul and Source that detachment is sort of the right word, but not really, because I feel like everything I'm sharing and articulating and feeling is with the purpose of supporting the flow of humanity, supporting the evolution of what we're all moving through, contributing back to the whole the best that I have to give. And so it does indirectly impact those who are suffering and struggling and feeling a lot of pain. It does impact, but it's not to change or to tell someone that their experience needs to be different. I guess maybe a good word would be empathy, but it's like at a soul level. To me, empathy, when I define it from a soul perspective, is I see you and your story, and I absolutely honor what you are here to do and experience. And I don't need to change that. I don't need to judge it. I don't need to tell you it's right or wrong. I simply want to say I see you. I see you, and I feel. And I'm right here contributing my very best that I can to co-creation. And I ask that you just keep doing the same in your way, right? And so maybe those who are in pain and struggling are transmuting that in this lifetime, are part of supporting the work so that at some point, like, we equalize at a higher frequency. And so all those who are in struggling and pain and suffering right now are moving it to be able to rebalance as a collective. I don't know. There's a great quote from Matthias when I was watching his video. He's like, none of us have the whole story. Nobody could tell you this is an absolute, because all we have is just a little slice of what we're experiencing, what we're contributing. So I can share that, I can offer my lens and my little slice of the whole of all of it, but there's so many others contributing. There's all the humans, there's Gaia, there's all the planets, there's Source, all the angels. Like, there's so many other facets contributing to the story. None of us could understand all of it. And so I share mine. I share mine with you and say, here's what I understand, and offer it under the umbrella title of Signier signs. So maybe you've been asking your guides, like, give me a message that I'm in alignment, help me to understand why I'm suffering, or I don't know, whatever your question to your guides has been. And here's this video, this woman in Cincinnati in the middle of a snowstorm saying to you, everything's good, it's perfect, exactly as it is, exactly as it is. And pay attention to the signs, receive them with gratitude, whatever it is that you're receiving. Like, I kept hearing the word coding when I was meditating. I'm like, I'm not coding. What does coding even mean? You know, we talk about galactic codes and, you know, coding into different videos or audios, or what even does that mean? What I feel is like truth and love and acceptance and calm. And so perhaps the word I would use instead of coding is like frequency. You came to this episode apparently because you just needed a reminder of that frequency, the frequency of trust and divine timing, and validation that, like, yeah, you're supposed to be here 100%. You chose to be here, and so get on with whatever it is you're here to do. Experience it, live it, be it. Don't doubt it. Just absolutely know that it's perfect. It's perfect. And then when the signs arrive to start gently nudging you because you're paying attention to the signier signs like this one, and you get the little gentle nudges that are like, okay, you've done that one long enough. You've played that pattern long enough. You've been in that situation long enough. You've had that belief system that doesn't serve you long enough. Like, let's make a change. And you start to get those gentle nudges. I'll give you a couple examples of signs besides numbers, because I love numbers so much. Lyrics in music. Oh my gosh. Just pay attention to the frequency and the lyrics of music, if you do nothing else, and you will be amazed when you're in a store. You'll hear specific words that are exactly what you needed to hear in that moment. You're like, are you kidding me? Like, you're following me everywhere? That's what I say to my guides. I'm like, are you everywhere right now? Like, for real? Yes. Yes, they are. When I went to the gym yesterday, so it was 2022, and we had quietly listening last night, and so I put together a playlist for that, a musical playlist each time. And I never know what the vibration is going to be until right before, you know, that morning or that afternoon. And then I'll put the music together, and it's always so good. And so yesterday I was like, okay, 2022, it definitely needs to be about like magic and signs and synchronicities, and also what songs are going to talk about that we can listen to in acupuncture, like in a healing session. You kind of want more mellow music. Get in the car to go to the gym, and normally I just play Spotify. Well, when I get in the car, I think I've talked about this before, my music on my phone kicks in first before my Bluetooth Spotify does. Before Spotify does. I don't know why. I get in the car, this song starts to play by Krishna Das, and it's Hare Hare, I don't remember the whole title, but it's this happy, upbeat chanting, like it sounds like they're hooting and hollering in the background. I mean, it was like rah rah, and I'm getting ready to go to the gym at 6:30 in the morning, like, oh, really? But that was the frequency, that was the vibration that I could feel my guide saying to me, like, this is the feeling to bring into the quietly listening session. Like, this is what 2022 is going to be ushering in. You're connecting directly with your angels. Like, this is a celebration. And so I made that the first song on the playlist, and then I was just paying attention throughout the day as songs would pop up, and created just this amazing playlist. So if you want to tune in to my vibration with me through music, go to my Spotify account, and it's Viv-Gerard, I think, or Viv_Gerard, and then look for Quietly Listening 2022, and you can listen to all the songs that we listened to last night, and you'll feel like the way that we moved through the energy. We went high and happy, and then we just started to ease and soothe the system, and feel the validation of the guides all around. It was stunningly beautiful. I mean, Andrea Henkel's is cosmic. Let's just put that into this Signier signs. If you're looking for someone to do some work with and someone to give you virtual acupuncture, she's the one. Signier sign right now. Contact Andrea Henkel's. She's amazing. She's my go-to healer every time that I need to be supported through a big shift. But the music, so yeah, ways to feel signs or to receive signs. Numbers, music, light, colors, like, you'll know what I mean as I'm saying that. I'm just validating what you already know. Conversations, text messages. I feel like our guides are speaking to us through all available channels. And so sometimes what's funny for me is when I'm eating a meal out or in line at the grocery store, in a store, you know, my ears are just sort of hearing the general energy that's moving around us, and snippets of conversations or words will pop into my ear, and I'll know, like, this isn't about their conversation they're having, like, that person is right here to say those words so that I would hear them and know, like, this is validation of what you're doing and where you're meant to be and how you're moving through the world. And so I constantly am just receiving, I mean, it's energy, right? Just playing out in different ways, but I receive it and then absorb the comfort of knowing, like, I talked about this in the New Moon Zen card reading. It's all just a game. This whole human realm is just us playing roles and doing things, and it's just like an experiment that the soul takes on to come be here and see what it's all about. And sometimes we do that once and we're like, that was over, never doing that again. And sometimes the soul just keeps coming back because the game is fascinating and awe-inspiring and so complicated and so challenging and so rewarding and so frustrating and so satisfying. That's why we keep coming back. But when we're in the game, we forget. So it's okay. It's okay. I'm just telling you as a reminder in the Sign Your Signs episode, it's a game. You chose to play it. You're exactly where you need to be. All is perfect. If you don't like the way the game is being played, change it. Make an adjustment. Change your thoughts. And I know when I say that, it's not that easy, but allow that it could be. Change your beliefs. Change the way that you are showing up. Change the frequency. Release the doubt. There are so many resources and tools. Just go to YouTube and, like, put in whatever words you're wanting to release or focus on, and then there will be something there that will guide you, because your guides will give you those signs and those nudges to help move you along through the game into something that feels more fulfilling. Maybe, I said this to a friend recently, actually, it's funny, it just popped to mind. One of my friends has been working with this individual, and just a hard personality, like for sure narcissist, just a rough, totally self-obsessed and abusive, abrupt energy. And clearly, like, he's working through some stuff, you know, but she's been co-creating in this relationship, a work relationship, for quite a while. And we had a session, and I said, it just was so clear to me. I'm like, you keep doing this for as long as you want, or you could say that you're complete with learning from narcissists, and you could be open to learning from other types of personalities, or you can keep doing what you're doing and keep learning from a narcissist. It's really up to you. Like, if you enjoy the lesson, keep doing it. If you don't, choose a different lesson. And she got it. She totally got it. She's like, you're right. Why? Why do I have to keep repeating a pattern that clearly I've become aware of and I've moved through? Let's play with different kinds of personalities. So you have that autonomy, that ability as a soul in a human form to make adjustments to the game, to say, okay, that lesson feels done. I'm going to move to a different lesson, because there's so many lessons that you can work on. And there's so many ways that you can play with the theme that you're here to experience. You know, compassion, for example, compassion can be learned or experienced through harsh relationships, or loss, or suffering, or betrayal. That's a rough one. And once you've had that experience, compassion can then be mastered through self-love, through kindness, through empathy. And it doesn't mean you have to go through the harshness anymore. It's just a different way to play with that lesson or that intention. And so maybe another one of the Signier signs right now is to be in meditation or communication with your soul, and to ask the question, like, okay, I've been working on this theme for a while, and I feel like the ways that I've been working on it have taught me a lot. Are there other ways I could continue working on this lesson or theme that maybe would be more peaceful for me, or more fulfilling for me, or not as volatile, or more satisfying in a way that is sustainable, or less of a roller coaster, you know, a little more even keeled. The request is always heard by our guides, always. And if the intention is clear and sincere, I believe they immediately help us course correct. And course correct, you know what I mean by that. Like, you're not in the wrong place or out of alignment, but sort of course correct into something that serves us more peacefully or more harmoniously. All right, that was a whole bunch of information. That was a lot of coding. That was a lot of frequency to translate and share with all of you. Yeah, that feels really good. Let's see, what's anything else to share with you in this moment? I guess I just want to say, like, it's really fun for me to dress up a little bit, and I've been putting on makeup, doing my hair, turn on all the lights. Like, I after talking about the politics card, I feel like I need to also say I'm very conscious that I am playing with masks in a little way here, like putting on a look. And also I'm very aware that I'm telling you that, so that feels like part of dropping the mask in the politics game. It's like, just say what you're doing and be transparent about it, and then enjoy it, and just enjoy the game, enjoy the fun of all of it, which is absolutely what I'm doing. We're supposed to have a potluck tomorrow night here for the gym. I'm pretty sure it's going to be canceled. There's so much ice on the trees. It's crazy out there. So I'm going to be working on my documentary proposal. I am in the middle of some really big edits to my website. I changed my homepage and I love it. I love it. I put into words what I talked about last week. Remember, I downloaded those the message from Gaia and my soul, And I was saying to you last week, like, oh, who's going to understand this? Like, I don't even know how I can share this and make it understandable. And yet it is. Like, I put it on my homepage and it feels so good. The main picture is different. I love that. I'm going to start reorganizing some of the ways that people move through my website today and tomorrow. So I'm excited for that. Gaia Earth sent me an ice storm to make sure I was homebound with no distractions so I would get a lot of work done. Yeah, and then this weekend, just lots of play. So life is good, and the Signier sign to you today is just to remind you of that. We came here for the whole range of the experience, and if you're stuck in a phase of it that doesn't feel really good, or that feels hopeless or heavy or exhausting, hear my frequency, my message, my validation to you. Like, you can change it. You can shift anything in any moment and tap into the frequency of what you prefer, of what you're feeling called to next, and then move towards that. Take the tiny steps that move you in that direction. And know that I'm cheering you on from here. I'm like, yes, let's do some of this, right? Let's rebalance a little bit. Rebalance and open up to a new way of being a human here on this planet. That feels good. That feels good. All right, if you are struggling and feel like you need support, you know that I offer energy sessions, and they are transformative and powerful and take an hour and a half. So you can learn more about that on my website. Yeah, there's also a great book that I wrote, my first book. It's called One Day, My Soul Journey in the Gaia Tribe. And in that book, I talk about the dimensions of consciousness as I understand them, my little slice of the whole. I talk about how I understand the dimensions of consciousness, and then what it felt like in my human body, what it looked like in my mind as I was course correcting, as I was moving through those realms of consciousness and releasing so much of the old patterning and story. And so the book, it just walks you through. I've called it a guidebook. I mean, it's just a little paperback, but it walks you through the phases of an awakening and really gives you real life experience, like what was happening to me and how did I navigate it. And so it's a great way to feel supported and to know that you're not alone, and to have some really practical tools just sitting in a book whenever you want to pick them up. So you can find that on Amazon if it's calling to you. All right, I would love to hear of your Signier signs. If you want to share in the comments, or send me an email, or send me a message on Instagram, like tell me about your Signier signs, and let's just support each other in a more real way. Not more real, more engaged way. All right, have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. So much love to you.
Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me in a new community on Facebook and Instagram I call the Gaia Tribe Reunion, where we show up together to share our soul's gifts, what we came here to Gaia to contribute to humanity. You can learn more at viviennegerard.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.